Everyone wants to know how Taxstone feels, and one of the things they really want to know about is his relationship with NORE. I did a little piece about the relationship between NORE and Taxstone, but everyone was so caught up about Taxstone and Troy Ave that they couldn't focus on what was going on between NORE and Taxstone. In this new interview with Complex, Taxstone talks about his relationship with NORE. When Taxstone was asked, why do you think certain people shouldn't speak because they're not educated enough to speak on the topics? Tax replied, no, not even that they're not educated on certain things. Let me give NORE for instance. NORE's Drink Champs is a legendary podcast. I still like it. I have my little issues with NORE, but I don't hold on to for too long like other people do. But I still enjoy his podcast because I like hip hop and I like rap legends. But I don't like when a person tries to act like they're intelligent and they know what they're doing all the time, and somebody that tries to act like they're supportive of the culture. Like if I was to interview Kanye West, once I seen that Kanye was saying everything that would destroy him, I would have never put it out. Yes, it would have helped my numbers. Everybody wants to see somebody say the most controversial things, but you gotta understand the impact of certain things being said. And I felt like that was like a real help to disrupt Kanye. You didn't help him by putting that out. If you listen to what he said, you knew the words he was saying. We're in a cultural setting where we know that there's certain things that are highly sensitive. You can't be sexist. You can't be racist. You can't be anti-Semitic. There's certain groups of people who we know have more strength than others. And when you say certain things that can shake up the world, some of those things that he said, it was offensive. Some of it wasn't true. And some of it was maybe intentional, but a lot of it was him being a little off his rocker. So when you see that your brother is in that type of state and Kanye West has such a humongous cultural impact in the world and coming from the hip hop world, he's one of our top representatives. I felt like that should have been a moment where Kanye had got protected. And it was like, yo, it's my brother. I'm scrapping his whole interview. And Kanye might have been mad at him for doing it and might have did it on somebody else's platform, but that's what you let him do. That's what those white platforms are for. You don't allow our culture to bring down our culture. We are here to uplift and to progress. But Taxstone wasn't done there. Responding to the allegations that NORE made on the Joe Budden podcast about Combat Jack and tax season specifically, Taxstone had this to say. Yes, I heard about it. I didn't really address it because that shit is not even true. Like if you really do your due diligence to look at the tax season podcast, I didn't post videos on YouTube, and that was intentional because I wasn't getting paid from it. So if you really see my podcast, it's only clips of them. It's only one full interview of tax season ever on video, and that's the Meek Mill interview I did in Atlanta. So that's false because I didn't even post videos on YouTube of my podcast. I actually have all of my videos on my hard drive because I knew that was a different form of revenue that I could get. But as far as getting paid and stuff, yeah, Combat got us ads. That's how we got paid in the beginning. That was the very beginning of podcasts. You know how hard it was to even get a company to believe to put an ad on the podcast, but they seen these podcasts is doing 300,000 a week, and that's when we started selling products like Casper mattresses and bevel blades, and they seen products really moving, and they was like, yo, this is another place to promote and advertise. I actually introduced NORE to a lot of those ads, and he got in touch with them through me. So a lot of the things he says is out of frustration. You know how somebody get caught doing something wrong, then they don't know how to just say, yo, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. So now they gotta lash out because the other person is mad at what they did and they got a right to. So it's like him, he's dealing with an ego. It's a lot of 50-year-olds that still got 17-year-old mentalities, and he's one of them. He got like the brain of an infant. I'm happy that he got his IP and he got his business straight because that's what this is about. It's about feeding your family and pushing the culture forward. But it becomes a clown show when you see stuff like, oh, I'm happy that all the rappers didn't succeed. It's like, wow, why are you happy that somebody didn't succeed? Like, why would that be a part of your agenda? This is your agenda and happiness. Like when you go to sleep at night, you speak to God or whoever you speak to and say, yo, I want happiness. I want help for my family, you know, wealth. And I want to make sure that nobody everybody else survives in this genre, that just seems like one of the weirdest parts to be happy for. I have such strong opinions that I deal with people that try to use my strong opinions and turn them into something else. Like the notion, oh yeah, I'm a hater. No, I'm not a hater. I tell the truth, and the truth is an uncomfortable place for these people to live in. So a lie is like the best pillow on earth for these people. And it's like when I say my truth, they get mad because they don't move me. It's like I understand what's going on. You're not going to insult my intelligence. What's the point of enlightening yourself and trying to be smart if you could easily be manipulated? These guys are manipulators, and they're not even good at manipulating. It's all see-through. It's all transparent. But Taxstone wasn't done there. When he was asked if he had any deals on the table before he was locked up in prison, he said, yeah, I had a lot of shit on the table, like a lot. Well, you know, if you listen to Drink Champs, you'll hear NORE talking about deals that I had. I never spoke about my deals. I'm not into that part. I'm into the art. This new thing where everybody wants to be like they're the best business person and they're lying anyway. So you know it's cute. Like on Instagram, everybody is like such a CEO of such and such, but it's like, yo, bro, you the only person that worked there. Like, of course you the CEO. So this whole thing, like where everybody got to have the LLC and I got my ownership, and it's like, yo, that is always great if you made a great negotiation. That's what contracts are for. See, NORE doesn't like Combat Jack because he said Combat Jack jerked him or something like that, but he didn't jerk him. He gave him a standard contract like most people get when they are new artists. So you know, Combat was an entertainment attorney, so he always says stuff about the deal. But no, what happened was you were a kid when you signed a record deal. You can hardly read things because you read with your finger. We see it right on your show. So you signed a bad deal back then, or a deal you thought you maybe should have gotten more from, and now you don't like the guy. But it's like, yo, it's cool that you finally figured it out. It took you about 30 more years. I didn't sign anything bad. Everybody paid me like I wasn't a podcaster for free. I came from the streets, and I came straight into a genre where I was like, I'm going to change my life forever. I knew I had a voice. I knew I had a strong opinion, and I knew that I had vast knowledge on a vast amount of subjects. Tax season was in the comedic section. Tax season wasn't in the hip hop section. Tax even took things a step further to say that he was always supporting Drink Champs no matter what, even when NORE wasn't around. I was supporting Drink Champs when NORE wasn't around. I had Drink Champs shirts on and pictures when NORE was nowhere around. I had no problem with promoting other shows. And just like we heard Taxstone say in the past of how he actually helped NORE with Drink Champs, Taxstone reiterates that here in this actual interview. So it's like the podcast game when I see what was going on. Like with NORE, he was on my podcast, and then for maybe 2-3 months straight, we was on the phone every day, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 2 in the morning, putting together the ideas for Drink Champs, talking to the lawyers, everything, getting things done for him. So for you to put somebody on your podcast that's insinuating that I killed somebody so they could be free from the crimes that they were arrested for, that's up. I would never do nothing like that. I would never give nobody a platform to make an accusation like that. I was thrown for a loop. At first, just summed it up to NORE's looking for numbers. He don't care. Like, he'll sacrifice anything. That's why when what happened with Kanye, there was no shock. Taxstone goes on to question NORE's character by saying that if he did the Kanye interview, he would have handled things differently. He says, yo, bro, I'm not putting this out. And he would have said, NORE, you got to put it out. You putting it out. And he said, no, I'm not. I'm not putting it out, bro. Scrap the interview. It's over. You might be mad at me now, but 2 years later down the line, you know, I did it to help you. So with the moment, you could have been passionate about wanting to get that message out. But once everything settled down, and that pretty much sums up the complex interview with Taxstone where he's talking about NORE and that whole situation. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. Put your thoughts down in the comments and make sure you like and subscribe and stay connected with Panda Chop News. Peace!